We told you Hollywood would find a way to stop or postpone the trial of the century. Nick Reiner, who allegedly ended the lives of his world-famous Hollywood royalty parents, and whose trial will feature all kinds of A-list celebrities, has just been given years. Yes, years to wait for said trial. We'll tell you all about it on the other side.
This process is going to play out over years. Okay, I would be shocked if this trial in the next 24 months, and this is going to take a while.
Hello, folks. Happy Monday. Welcome back yet again. Folks, we are not Nostradamus around here. We just know Hollyweirds better than they know themselves, and we are ready to claim victory, at least when it comes to the level of corruption that exists in California. All right, folks, as we get ready to dive in, you click the like button, and we'll tell you how the celebs are weaseling out of this one this time. From the blast, the final straw that made the Reiners walk away from Nick. Who are the Reiners? Well, not his parents, right? His siblings. This is by Chikudi Oniwachi. Came out just a couple of days ago. And here's what it says. The Reiner family has reached a breaking point. In the wake of the shocking deletions of legendary director Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle, insiders say the family has made a painful but decisive move that signals just how deep the rupture has become. With Nick now facing the most serious charges imaginable, those closest to him have drawn a firm line, cutting off financial and emotional support as the legal case moves forward. Now, what might have been the precedent that caused them to cut ties, considering that it was just a week ago or so that we told you that they were actually defending this guy, the guy who deleted their parents, the troubled man who caused their parentals to be in fear and to allege that, allegedly, at Conan O'Brien's party where the police were not called. Why the sudden 180? Well, folks, it's because of another thing that we told you, and that is that Nick apparently had a high-powered, very, very expensive attorney, a defense attorney, at the scene of the crime in record time, which may have been too much for these kids, may have been too much for these young adults, these family members grieving to find out, wait a minute, you deleted our parents? And then you were in a hotel room overlooking the ocean within hours, allegedly? And there's a defense attorney, like one of the most expensive, high-powered, and I'm talking about a terror for anybody who wanted to go after Nick, but you hired one of the most top-level defense attorneys, the meanest dude out there, a bad hombre, and he was there at the crime scene soon thereafter? We're not going to pay for that. Our parents' money is not going to pay for that. Folks, that might have been the breaking point. But what does this do for the trial of the century? Nick has lost his attorney. His lawyer is gone. It's over. Goodbye. No more of the guy who was going to defend him. Well, now Nick is down to saying, I don't know why I'm in here. The Inquirer is reporting this. Michael Goya says Nick Reiner doesn't understand why he's in jail. Yeah, that might be the best way to go once your funds have been cut and the attorney's gone. Nick Reiner, who is charged, we've already been through that. According to a Friday, January 9th, TMZ report, and TMZ is absolute trash, but they probably have this one right. They probably reported this accurately, but TMZ is total trash. I mean, they are just trash. The 32-year-old is delusional. I mean, maybe. I'd act delusional. Would you? I mean, just think about that for a minute, folks. Your family just found out that you might have used mommy and daddy's money to hire a defense attorney who was there within, a short amount of time after the thing happened. I'd be looking at the credit card to find out when the attorney was hired, wouldn't you? Before or after? I don't know. But I bet you if my family suddenly pulled a 180 and cut me off and they weren't blaming the mental health establishment anymore for what I did, yeah, I might go with delusional at this point. The outlet previously reported that Nick, that's TMZ, remember they're trash, who has long lived with all kinds of illicit abuse issues, was diagnosed with some other stuff, and that a change to his medication led to a mental breakdown. Which, again, if you did this, wouldn't you say that? The legendary Hollywood actor, you know what happened. Prior to the deletions, the Reiners reportedly attended a holiday party at the home of Conan O'Brien, and it is believed Rob engaged in an argument with his son there. He was initially represented. This is what you need to know. Nick was initially represented by high-profile attorney Alan Jackson, not the country singer, different guy. But during a Wednesday, January 7th court appearance, Jackson withdrew from the case. Nick was then appointed a public defender, and his arraignment was postponed to February 23rd. Okay. Now here's where we got to play around with some conspiracy, but we're going to do it with common sense. Okay? Nick's over here next to his dad, right? All right. So Nick had the super high-powered, like one of the top in the country attorneys, crazy expensive, Alan Jackson, not the music singer. And that guy was there at the crime scene very rapidly thereafter. Now, that guy is a bulldog. He is a tough, tough man, right? You don't want to mess with this Alan Jackson guy, not the country singer. And the celebrities, Conan O'Brien, Bill Hader, Jane Fonda, etc., you know they were all going to be cross-examined by this guy. Forced to testify, and it was going to be ugly. It was going to be bad. Somebody pulled the plug on the finances, and suddenly that attorney can no longer do that because he's not doing it pro bono. He doesn't need to. He doesn't have to. He's earned his ability to be the top as one mean hombre. And what's that mean for Hollywood? And here's where we get a little conspiratorial, folks. Is this a result of the organic change of heart of the family members, or was pressure placed to say, we got to get rid of this guy. We got to get rid of this attorney. We cannot take the stand. And by the way, I'm not naming any particular celebrity. I still continue to hold hope. And really, I do believe this. I'm not just holding hope. I believe that Conan O'Brien is probably a good guy. Like, I legitimately think Conan is a good guy. I don't know where we agree or disagree on all kinds of things, right? Politics, religion, etc. I don't know. But everybody that I've talked to says Conan is a legitimately great guy. And I believe it, right? So I'm not saying that this is Conan doing this, but I'm talking about the Hollywood machine. Like, who knew that Nick was a danger, and when did they know it? Right? How long has this been known? What stuff was Rob involved in that might come out in the trial? Like, there's a lot of stuff here. There's a lot of stuff. There's plenty of reason for somebody to shut this down. Rob was running around with Gavin Newsom and all this stuff, right? They want to shut it down. All I'm saying is, did the family have an organic change of heart where they said, you know what? Now that we know that you used mommy and poppy's money allegedly to pick up this high-powered attorney, and that it might have happened really fast. That is just a level of depravity, man, that we can't, and you're not crazy if that's the case, right? And folks, we're theory crafting, okay? All right, did that happen? Or did the people in high places of power say now is not the time for all this stuff to come out? We're going to put this out. We're going to put this off. We're going to delay. And the way we're going to do it is the money's going to be gone. And Alan Jackson, high-powered attorney, we want you to go somewhere else. Wish you well. We'll help you out later. I'm not saying this happened, folks. Theory crafting, right? I find it interesting. Fox News is reporting this. Now, Nick Reiner trial, right? The Hollywood celebrity trial of the century, won't happen for at least 2 years, as the public defender now starts from square one, says expert. An expert predicts Nick Reiner won't be on trial for at least 24 months by Tracy Wright, Larry Fink. You know, let's play a little bit of this. I'm willing to play just a minute of it. I want you to hear this. And as we do, just think about how it works in California. Supposedly, the defense attorney, high-powered Alan Jackson, not the music singer, defense attorney, comes in and is supposed to defend this guy. You know what? I think he just started from square one. He bails, he dips, he's out. Boom, public defender comes in. Nobody, right? What? You're telling me that Nick doesn't have any funds whatsoever? Nobody will give him money for anybody except a public defender. And therefore, the public defender who has to start from scratch, just like the other defense attorney did a month ago, now we got to have 2 years. Play the Fox News clip.
This is not going to be like some of these other high-profile murder cases where somebody comes in and refuses to waive time, and we're doing a trial within a year or a year and a half. This process is going to play out over years. Okay, I would be shocked if this trial happened in the next 24 months, and this is going to take a while. There's also a procedure in the state of California known as declaring a doubt, where a defense lawyer has the unilateral ability to come into court and say, Your Honor, I am declaring a doubt regarding the competency of my client to assist me further in these proceedings. And that's something you will often see in NGRI or not guilty by reason of insanity cases. And it's called going 1368. And when they do that, the court is required by law to appoint two mental health experts, one at the request of the prosecution, one at the request of the defense, to evaluate the defendant to determine whether or not the defendant is competent to stand trial, which is different than was he legally sane at the time he committed the charged act. So there's a lot of layers here in mental health cases.
All right, folks. So what else? What else do we know? By them doing what they're doing, the celebrities who are likely to have to testify and give their affidavits, these people are going to now have less credence, I believe. And the reason is because there's not an attorney right now to request the subpoenas of the statements or their testimony. Maybe law enforcement will do it, but this is going to take years now. And you know what happens with people over years? Their recollection gets foggy, it gets hazy, and it's less helpful, right? That's what's happening here. And this means, by the way, the chances of this going to trial before the next election, the next presidential election for the United States, unlikely. So what does that mean? If Gavin Newsom wants to run for the president of the United States, and he does, and if there's anything that's going to come out negative about, ties to political forces, et cetera, with Rob Reiner, and, I don't know that would come up, but it could. If there's anything about celebrities and, what they knew and why they wouldn't call the police and all that, it's not going to come out. And it's not going to come out until a long time from this point. 3 years? Probably. This is the way they pulled it off. This is the way it happened. Did they do it with the oversight or the influence of negative forces? Don't know. Did it happen just because the family, Occam's razor, right? Maybe we go with that. Occam's razor. It usually works. Maybe the kids of the Reiner family, the other ones, the sane ones, said, you rented a hotel room and you had an attorney like that. That's not the actions of a crazy person. We're taking the money away. You don't get mommy and poppy's money anymore. Maybe that's what happened. But one way or the other, as so often is the case, when it comes to this case, where major Hollywood names were about to be brought before a judge, just like with Alec, with the Rust thing in New Mexico, there they go again. Folks, Hollywood is the prime example. And I'm being very purposefully not aiming this statement at Conan O'Brien or Bill Hader. Probably very innocent people who had nothing to do with this. My guess is they were thrown under the bus by the real celebrities who chose not to make the phone calls they needed to make, right? That's my guess. But just like with Alec and what happened with that movie, right, where there's no longer the lady, the real privilege is not the privilege that they say you have, and they condemn you for it. The real privilege in life is fame. The real privilege in life is being a celebrity. Because special treatment, special actions, special steps get taken, especially when you're connected politically. And that is the video for today. Folks, we got another one coming out at 4:30. You don't want to miss it. We're talking Barry Weiss, Elon Musk, and the battle for CBS and X as companies and countries all over the world are trying to get rid of both of them, censor them, and remove them from the playing field. Will Elon win? Will Barry win? We'll never bet against those two, and definitely not Elon's smartest man, perhaps, on the planet. Folks, like, share, subscribe. Click it. Stick it to the algorithms. It is notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. And until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Why can't I go around topless anymore?
Because it's not appropriate.
Kevin Apollo isn't appropriate?
Kevin Apollo's like a Greek god. And besides, he does kind of wear shirts. Sometimes.
I mean, that kind of explains it.
mean, technically Apollo is a Roman god borrowed from the Greeks, which makes sense, because he's powerful and has great takes.
Look, if you love Athena that much, you can marry him.
Nope, but I do plan to check out Lorne and Apollo on Tuesdays and Fridays at 11 p.m. Eastern.
Wait, Lorne's there? This is another opportunity to see if we can get him to watch the Highlander movies.